I've been fascinated with Pāṇini and his language machine for a long time now. For the last 2500 years or so, though, scholars have been trying to figure out what the exact algorithm is that runs this machine. And I started my PhD at Cambridge, hoping to be able to contribute to this conversation and to find an answer to this big question. But the first couple of months that I spent at Cambridge were tough. I was struggling, I was almost ready to quit. And that's when my supervisor stepped in and said, if your solution is too complex, you're probably wrong. And I took that advice and ran with it, started looking for something which is simple, elegant, and effective. And that's how I was able to solve this puzzle. So Pāṇini is remembered in India and actually world over for that matter for being the first informatician or first linguist who was able to organize the structure of human language within his grammar in such an elegant, beautiful way. So his grammar's got 4,000 rules. It's comprehensive, but it's also economical and really well structured, optimal, and succinct in its own way. In Pāṇini's grammar, to derive any word, you start with the base and the affix, and then you apply a series of rules over very many steps. Two rules become simultaneously applicable often at the same step of a word derivation. Now, the question is, which rule do you choose? Which of these two do you apply? So Pāṇini has taught us only one rule in his grammar to help decide which of these two applicable rules should be chosen. Now, unfortunately, the first scholar to comment on Pāṇini's grammar, Katyayana, misunderstood this rule. He was familiar with two possible interpretations of this rule, and unfortunately, he chose the wrong one. And thereafter, all the scholars to write about Pāṇini's grammar over the last 2500 years essentially went ahead with that incorrect interpretation. So the rule in question, which helps us resolve this so-called rule conflict, is 142 Vipratishethe Param Karyam. The traditional interpretation of this rule is that when there is a conflict between two rules of equal strength, the rule that comes later in the serial order of the grammar should be chosen or wins. Now, that of course gives us all kinds of grammatically incorrect forms if we are to go by that interpretation. I reinterpreted this rule as, in the event of such interaction between two rules at the same step, the rule that is applicable to the right part of the word wins. That has helped us figure out the algorithm that runs this machine. So now when you follow the correct interpretation of this rule, you automatically get the correct answer at the end of almost all derivations without exception. So now that we've got the algorithm, this very simple, elegant, teachable algorithm, we can teach the Ashtadhyayi, this fantastic grammar, to the computer. And I think this is a major milestone, not just in the history of human interaction with machines, but also in the intellectual history of India. So I had spent almost 9 months at this point at Cambridge as a PhD student, and I had found absolutely nothing. So I was disappointed, I was despondent, I was almost ready to quit. And I thought, I think I deserve a break. It's summertime, let's take some time out, let's extract ourselves from the thick of the problem and just spend some time doing other things. Because anyway, we're not making much progress, are we? So that's exactly what I did. I spent a month away from my research. I did not even touch my books for that 1 month. And all I did is cook, pray, meditate, swim, read other stuff, but nothing related to my work. After 1 month, of course, begrudgingly, I had to go back to the department to see what I can do about this problem. And I entered the room, I opened the first notebook. Within minutes, as I'm flipping the pages, the patterns almost revealed themselves to me. Almost within seconds, I knew that I had what I needed to successfully complete my PhD, but more importantly, to solve this absolutely fascinating problem. At least for the first few months after I made this discovery, I had sleepless nights. I used to cycle to the library in the middle of the night just to flip pages, of the very many books that I had stacked up on my table, just to answer other related questions and to confirm certain things that I was thinking about, and so on and so forth. So that was a beautiful period of my life, but a lot of hard work had to be done, and that's precisely what I did during the rest of my PhD. So I think this is a great opportunity for India, and especially India's youth, to feel inspired and realize and acknowledge the fact that their ancestor Pāṇini, a fantastic genius, a very rare one, a very unique one, has produced something so extraordinary. So if he could do it with the limited tools available to him 2,500 years ago, we can do some amazing things as well. So do you want me to say that I actually ended up coming to Sanskrit accidentally? Because that's what happened in class 8. My mom chose Sanskrit for me because you get full marks in that, and you can't get full marks in other languages. Should I say that or should I not say that?
Yeah, I love it. I think that's very cute. That's nice.
Okay.